It's Bianca Galic, whose penalty in the elimination final last season eliminated the Victory and won the shootout for the Mariners. If history repeats, it will be the trophy in Central Coast hands. This is it. Galic very deliberately making sure the penalty spot is to her liking. Galic and Newbon squaring off again, just over a year from when they last did. To win the grand final, Bianca Galic for the Mariners. Bianca Galic is good with the penalty. And the Central Coast Mariners are the Ninja Ray-League champions of 2025. One of the most extraordinary stories in the history of the game in this country. A team born out of recess, revived, and now thriving all the very way to the pinnacle. Champions of the A-League Women's.
Checkmate. Central Coast Mariners. The fairy tale is complete. What a moment for Emily Husband. What a moment for Gosford. Tears of happiness, and deservedly so. A season incredible. A game one for the ages. And the Mariners players can hold their heads also very high.
Consolation for Victory. They won't believe it. But it's Central Coast who will leave with the trophy. Tears of joy for the winning team. 1-1 after 120 minutes. And at the end of the penalty shootout, it was the Mariners who prevailed, 5-4. Let's go down to the aftermath. Take it away.
Incredible scenes here at Amy Park and a history-making night. The Central Coast Mariners, they lift their very first grand final, and it was in dramatic circumstances. Lydia Williams, difficult for you to watch, of course, being on the books of Melbourne Victory and riding all the waves of all of the action that we've seen. But this is what it is. It's football. It can be the highs of highs and the lows of low, of losing in a penalty shootout in that way. And Bianca Galic, in the end, it was her penalty that secured it for the Central Coast Mariners, and yet again she was the hero, stepping up in the elimination final as she did do last season to knock Victory out of the elimination final. But it goes to the team that did come in as the underdogs, the Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah, it's finals football. Anything can happen, and that's just what happened here today. To be honest, I think, you know, with Mariners getting the coin toss and electing to go down their end with their fans, I think that was, you know, that paid dividends for them.
It absolutely did, and when you have a look at the penalties, the one that missed in the end, Alana Janchevsky stepped up for Melbourne Victory, but then the youngsters from the Central Coast Mariners, Tiana Fuller, just 16 years old, stepped up and took penalty number one. Peter Trimmis on her 19th birthday today for the Mariners also converted her penalty. Jade Pennock, Izzy Gomez, who's been in the form of her life, and Bianca Galic. Bianca Galic with this moment, I mean, and she walked up, took a pause, and then there it was. It sailed past Courtney Newbon in goal to the heartbreak of Melbourne Victory, but to the history makers that are the Central Coast Mariners. It's
definitely a memorable night for the Mariners and the journey they've taken to get here, and obviously the story coming back in the league. So, you know, huge congratulations to them, and they played that right to the end and chose, you know, psychologically the things that were going to keep them going right to the final whistle.